What if the anxiety you feel, that frantic, chaotic storm that rises within you, is not a flaw in your design? What if the racing heart before a presentation or the knot in your stomach during a stressful week isn't a sign of weakness, but a message? What if that surge of energy is the untamed roar of a dragon, a creature of immense, ancient power that lives inside you? For centuries, we've been told to fear our dragons, to draw our swords, suppress the fire, and stand victorious over the beast. But this is a tragic misunderstanding of our true nature. The dragon was never meant to be slain. It was meant to be understood. And once you learn its rhythm, you can ride it. Today, you will learn to turn that roar into rhythm through your breath. In the next 30 minutes, you won't be given a quick trick or empty promise. You'll be handed something far more powerful, the reins. Together, we'll travel inward, not to escape the storm, but to meet it. You'll learn the hidden language of your nervous system and how every breath can shift your inner world from chaos to clarity. By the end of this journey, you will no longer fight your dragon. You will ride it, and its fire, once wild and fearful, will become the steady flame of your calmest strength. Across the vast tapestry of human history, dragons have slithered and soared, breathing both fire and fascination into our collective imagination. They appear in every corner of the world, each culture shaping them in its own image, a mirror of the fears, hopes, and mysteries of the human mind. In China, the dragon is revered as a celestial force of creation and balance, guiding rivers, rains, and the turning of seasons with serene wisdom. In Western tales, dragons lie coiled in deep caves, guarding treasures and testing heroes, a fiery embodiment of danger and the unknown. Yet across continents and centuries, one truth remains constant. The dragon stands at the threshold, the liminal space where what we know meets what we cannot yet understand. It is a gatekeeper, a teacher, and a mirror of transformation. Consider the dragon not merely as a fantastical creature, but as a living metaphor. Its scales, wings, and flame are not literal. They are symbolic signposts marking the hidden pathways of consciousness. The winged chaos of the dragon represents the primal forces within us: fear, instinct, creativity, and unbridled potential. When shamans painted serpents entwined with the sun, when monks carved dragons in a temple stone, they were not chronicling monsters. They were charting maps of the human psyche. The dragon's cave, as terrifying as it may seem in legend, mirrors the chambers of our own hearts, dark, uncharted, and full of both peril and possibility. To approach, it is to confront our own shadow, to meet what has been denied, and to awaken to a deeper understanding of self. For millennia, humanity has danced with this inner fire. We battled it in myths, sought to control it in rituals, or ignored it in the pursuit of rationality. Yet the dragon's presence never truly vanished. It whispered through dreams, appeared in the subtle tensions of our hearts, and demanded recognition in moments of fear and exhilaration. The dragon is not a mere story. It is an archetype, a reminder that the forces we often resist are, in truth, the very engines of transformation. In meeting it, we do not simply encounter a beast. We encounter ourselves in full, unfiltered intensity, with all our power, vulnerability, and potential laid bare. Carl Jung described myths as the original language of the unconscious. He suggested that within every story, every creature, every fantastical element, lies a fragment of the psyche speaking to us across time. In this framework, the dragon ceases to be a fantasy and emerges as a profound psychological messenger. Its fire is not destruction. It is the transformative energy of life, urging us to confront illusions, integrate shadows, and awaken to authenticity. The treasure guarded by the dragon is not gold or jewels, but the harmonization of fragmented selves, the reunion of internal opposites into a coherent whole. When we attempt to slay the dragon, to suppress fear, desire, or rage, we often encounter only resistance. The energy does not disappear. It manifests in anxiety, restlessness, or subtle bodily tension. This is the dragon calling, insisting that it be recognized rather than ignored. The shadow archetype Jung described thrives precisely where denial resides. Beneath every suppressed instinct, every unspoken emotion, lies the dragon's coiled fire, waiting to illuminate what has been hidden. To meet, it is to stand at the doorway of self-discovery, to decide whether to flee or engage. Fleeing only delays the inevitable. Approaching the beast, with courage and awareness, transforms its roar into a guide. This confrontation is not for the faint of heart. To integrate the dragon is to embrace complexity, to acknowledge that within us exists the capacity for destruction and creation, fear and courage, selfishness and compassion. Yet this fiery core is also life itself, the source of vitality that fuels artistry, love, and resilience. To face the dragon is to cultivate wholeness, allowing shadow and light to coexist in dynamic balance. The heart races not with panic, but with possibility. The wings of chaos begin to lift us into realms of insight and presence, revealing a sky previously obscured by fear and habitual limitation. In this dance with shadow, we discover that mastery is not domination, but dialogue. Imagine standing before the dragon, eyes glimmering like molten gold, scales shimmering with untamed energy. The fire that spills from its throat is not meant to harm, but to purify. It asks you to release illusions, to shed worn layers of pride, habit, and expectation. This is the alchemy of transformation, the destruction of the old self to reveal the authentic being within. Across cultures, the dragon's fire has symbolized thresholds, rites of passage, and initiation. The flames of myth echo the inner processes of the psyche, the necessary trials that precede emergence, creativity, and liberation. To walk into that fire is to embrace vulnerability. Each inhalation becomes courage, each exhalation, surrender. In the heat of presence, the boundaries between fear and power, shadow and light, dissolve. What once seemed dangerous now becomes instructive. The dragon's roar becomes a rhythm, a pulse that guides action and intuition. Its wings carry the weight of transformation, lifting the individual into a higher state of coherence. Life's chaos, once overwhelming, is translated into a language of opportunity, and the treasure within, the unified self, is finally accessible. This journey is ongoing. Dragons do not vanish with understanding. They linger, shaping every heartbeat, every decision, every interaction. The myths were never merely entertainment. They are compasses, guiding us to the realization that what terrifies is also sacred. The dragon does not demand worship or control, only recognition, respect, and presence. By listening to its rhythm, by honoring its fire, we awaken a deeper, enduring power. The treasure is not external, but internal, a sovereign self, attuned to the pulse of life, courageous in the face of uncertainty, and alive to the vast potential within. Beneath every myth, beneath every tale of dragons and fire, lies a rhythm, a pulse that connects legend to biology, imagination to physiology. The dragon, once thought to exist only in story, continues to breathe within you, not as wings or claws, but as a cadence of life itself, your heartbeat. Each beat is more than a mechanical contraction of muscle. It is a message, a flicker of ancient intelligence contained in flesh and blood. In the quiet space between one heartbeat and the next, the dragon whispers, waiting to be recognized. That whisper is not mystical fantasy. It is your body speaking a language older than words. This language is what modern science measures as heart rate variability, HRV, the subtle, ever-shifting differences in time between each heartbeat. At first glance, it seems counterintuitive. Shouldn't a steady, unchanging pulse be ideal? Not all. Life itself is variability. The heart is a mirror, reflecting how well your body and mind navigate uncertainty. High HRV is a sign of flexibility, resilience, and coherence. Low HRV is the echo of tension, fear, and unprocessed stress. The dragon's heartbeat is a living gauge of your readiness to meet life with presence. It does not demand control, it invites awareness. Mystics of old intuited this truth long before instruments could quantify it. Taoist sages spoke of the qi flowing through the body, invisible currents that harmonize energy and consciousness. Yogis sense prana in the chest, rising and falling with the breath, guiding meditation and action alike. Modern neuroscience now confirms these ancient insights. The heart and nervous system are in constant dialogue, mediated by the vagus nerve, responding to every thought, emotion, and sensation. Your inner dragon is not merely metaphorical. It is measurable, it is alive, and is speaking through rhythm. When anxiety surges, when fear rises, when the mind races, notice this. The dragon does not roar randomly. It is signaling imbalance, inviting attention, beckoning you to return to rhythm. The pulse beneath the flame is your portal into presence. Each beat is a bridge between chaos and coherence, between instinct and insight. To listen is to begin the conversation, not to suppress the roar, but to learn its cadence. The dragon's heartbeat is both teacher and mirror, reflecting the state of your inner kingdom in every subtle shift, every quiver of muscle, every flicker of nerve and synapse. Imagine for a moment that your body is a kingdom. Mountains rise as your bones, rivers flow as your blood, forests of neurons stretch across your cerebral landscape. At the center sits the heart, not as a mere pump, but as a sovereign ruler. It does more than circulate blood. It governs the harmony of the realm. Through its rhythm, the heart communicates with the brain, modulates emotions, and shapes cognition. HRV becomes the kingdom's mirror, revealing the interplay between order and chaos, control and surrender. High HRV is the hallmark of sovereignty. It is not about perfection or control. It is about adaptability. The body and mind function like a well-conducted orchestra, each organ, each system, responding fluidly to circumstance. When you face challenges, sudden stress, uncertainty, or fear, a high HRV allows for calm decisiveness. The nervous system is flexible, the mind resilient, the spirit steady. In this state, the dragon's wings are folded in readiness, not panic. Its fire is warmth, not burn. Conversely, low HRV signals disharmony. The dragon curls upon itself, anxious and reactive. Breath becomes shallow, muscles tense, thoughts scattered. Decisions feel heavy, emotions swing like storms. Here lies the invisible prison most people inhabit, alive, yet disconnected from rhythm, constantly reacting instead of flowing. Yet the beauty of HRV lies in its plasticity. It can be shaped, strengthened, and restored through awareness, practice, and breath. By learning to align with the pulse of your inner dragon, you can transform reactivity into resilience, fear into fuel, chaos into clarity. Techniques such as slow, coherent breathing, around 6 breaths per minute, meditation, and focused attention on the heart can elevate HRV, literally reshaping the physiological landscape. Your nervous system remembers these patterns, embedding the rhythm into cellular and neural architecture. With practice, the dragon ceases to be a wild, untamed force and becomes a guide, a co-pilot navigating the kingdom of your body with intelligence and grace. The heartbeat becomes both compass and crown, and you, the rider, begin to experience life as a fluid, responsive, and sovereign being. To breathe consciously is to awaken the dragon from slumber. Inhale deeply, fully, drawing air into the lungs as if inviting flame to rise from the chest. Exhale deliberately, releasing tension, doubt, and stagnation. Over time, this simple act becomes ritual, a living dialogue between body, mind, and spirit. The breath connects the crown of awareness to the foundation of sensation, linking neurons, blood flow, and heart rhythm into one coherent wave. Every breath is both an acknowledgement of presence and an act of reclamation. The dragon is no longer external or feared. It is internal, alive, and responsive. When life feels fractured, rushed, or overwhelming, conscious breathing reestablishes connection. HRV rises. The mind softens. Thoughts no longer hijack attention. The body no longer trembles in anticipation. Presence emerges as the bridge between imagination and reality, between instinct and insight. Breath becomes a tool, a ritual, a language through which the inner dragon communicates its wisdom. It whispers lessons in subtlety. Tension is temporary. Chaos is informative. Presence is transformative. In this state, the kingdom within thrives. The heart beats with adaptability and grace. The nervous system flows like rivers in flood and ebb. Emotions arrive, pass, and dissolve without hijacking the throne. Every inhalation stokes the dragon's energy. Every exhalation channels it into balance and coherence. Life transforms from a battlefield into a symphony, the pulse of HRV orchestrating rhythm, clarity, and empowerment. The dragon's heartbeat becomes a living mantra. I am present. I am aligned. I am awake. Awareness of HRV and breath is not a fleeting trick. It is mastery. By listening to the subtle variations in rhythm, by observing the rise and fall of each beat, you cultivate sovereignty over your inner world. The dragon ceases to be a metaphor and becomes a constant companion, guiding decisions, shaping presence, and fostering resilience. Each pulse is a lesson, each breath a practice, each day an opportunity to align with the rhythm that has always existed beneath the flame, waiting for recognition, respect, and communion. Long before the written word, before fire illuminated the night, there was breath. Every newborn enters the world with a trembling inhale. Every departing soul leaves with a final exhale. Between these two winds lies the entire human experience, an invisible current that bridges the seen and unseen, body and mind, chaos and calm. Ancient civilizations recognized this truth. They called it prana, pneuma, ruach, spiritus, words that encompassed both air and life force. The breath is not merely mechanical. It is the axis around which existence revolves. To master, it is to navigate the subtle channels that connect the self to the cosmos, the dragon within to the world without. Dragons themselves are creatures of air and flame. Their mythic presence reflects a universal truth. Breath carries power. The inhale draws fire from the unseen. The exhale releases it, shaping both body and consciousness. Across cultures, the wisest understood that command over the breath equates to mastery of life itself. Warriors steadied themselves before battle. Monks entered meditative states for days, tethering mind and heart through the rhythm of inhalation and exhalation. Shamans shaped reality through controlled breath. Without realizing it, these ancient masters were forging the reins, not on dragons of flesh and scale, but on the internal beast, the restless energy, the primal fire, the pulse that drives perception and action. Modern science only recently began to map what mystics have practiced for millennia. Each breath alters the chemistry of blood, modulates nervous system tone, and influences heart rate variability. Inhale slowly, and parasympathetic pathways awaken, promoting calm and repair. Exhale deliberately, and tension dissipates, stress hormones fade, and neural circuits find coherence. Between inhale and exhale lies a dynamic equilibrium, a dance between sympathetic activation and parasympathetic restoration. The breath is not neutral. It shapes thought, emotion, and behavior. To understand this is to recognize the dragon's reins are not external objects, but patterns of awareness, subtleties that, once mastered, align mind, body, and spirit into a harmonious whole. From Egypt to China, From India to Greece, the pattern repeats. Priests, yogis, Taoist masters, and philosophers alike sought mastery of breath as a gateway to insight and power. They intuitively understood that life's rhythm is nested in the flow of air, the tide of lungs, the cadence of the chest. The breath becomes both compass and current, a vehicle for transformation, a bridge between inner and outer worlds. The dragon does not respond to force. It responds to presence. And presence, in the ancient art of breath, is cultivated by attention, patience, and reverence. Forging the reins is not an act of domination. It is the creation of trust between rider and dragon. Attempt to coerce the breath, and it rebels. Guide it with awareness, and it becomes a loyal companion. The first step is observation, simply noticing the natural rise and fall of the chest, the subtle rhythm of air moving through the nose, the unspoken signals of tension and relaxation. Awareness alone initiates change. Each shallow inhale, each held breath, each sigh represents a story etched into muscle memory. The armor of old fears, the residue of stress, the echoes of battles long past. By noticing these patterns without judgment, you begin to heat the metal of habit, making it pliable for reshaping. Next comes rhythm. A conscious inhalation lengthens naturally, expanding the ribs without strain. A deliberate exhalation deepens, releasing both carbon dioxide and accumulated tension. Science calls this resonant breathing, roughly 6 breaths per minute, the tempo at which heart, lungs, and nervous system synchronize. Mystics call it communion. The body responds. Heart rate variability rises, vagal tone increases, brainwaves settle, and subtle warmth spreads through the chest. The dragon's pulse shifts from erratic fire to steady glow. Through repetition, the reins, initially fragile and tentative, strengthen. Breath becomes guidance, influence, and ritual, a bridge connecting awareness to physiology, chaos to coherence. Yet forging the reins is never devoid of challenge. Deep practice may surface long-forgotten emotions, unresolved memories, or buried fears. The dragon tests the rider's steadiness. This is not regression, but revelation. Each exhale releases more than air. It sheds narrative, tension, and resistance. Each inhale draws vitality into neglected spaces. Over time, a trust develops, a conversation between consciousness and body, rider and dragon. The reins are no chains, but luminous threads, flexible yet firm. In this union, control and harmony coexist. Breath becomes leadership at its purest, subtle, deliberate, empowering. The alchemy lies not in technique alone, but in the cultivation of presence. Awareness of the inhalation, focus on the exhalation, attention to the subtle sensations. These form the foundation upon which mastery rests. Breath is not a tool for performance. It is the language through which the dragon speaks. Every subtle shift in rhythm, every wave of air through the lungs, carries intelligence, inviting alignment. The rider who listens, observes, and guides, rather than forces, discovers that mastery is a dance, not a conquest. With the reins forged, the relationship transforms. Life ceases to be fragmented, revealing instead the interwoven patterns of rhythm present in every aspect of existence. The mountains breathe through mist, oceans exhale tides, trees inhale sunlight and exhale oxygen. You realize the breath is never solely yours. It is a shared current, part of an interconnected system, flowing through past, present, and future. Each inhalation draws on collective memory, the air of forests, the echoes of fires long extinguished, the sighs of ancestors. Each exhalation returns contribution to the whole, your note in the symphony of life. In this recognition, humility and empowerment coexist. You are simultaneously small and infinite, finite yet eternal. Modern physiology confirms what mystics intuited. Coherent breath shifts brain chemistry, increases alpha wave activity, balances oxygen and carbon dioxide ratios, and optimizes autonomic regulation. Yet beyond measurable effects lies the older truth. Breath is awareness incarnate. Mastery of breath does not force the dragon, it coaxes it into rhythm. The mind becomes transparent, intuition rises, and presence strengthens. The fire of the dragon, once chaotic, becomes warmth. The wings of instinct become instruments of wisdom. The pulse of life becomes guidance. Living this way transforms existence. Anger, fear, and doubt no longer dictate reaction. Uncertainty becomes navigable. Stress becomes informative, and the body-mind unit moves in synchrony with life's rhythms. The reins of breath, once forged, are tools not of control, but of collaboration, leadership without coercion, guidance without force. Each breath aligns rider and dragon, heart and mind, self and cosmos. Each inhale is a vow, each exhale a lesson. To breathe consciously is to engage in alchemy, to convert survival into sovereignty, instinct into insight, and physiology into art. Mastery of the reins is not achieved in days or weeks. It is cultivated through ongoing attention, repeated practice, and unwavering curiosity. Every moment offers an opportunity to return to rhythm, to listen, to forge alignment anew. Breath becomes both sanctuary and sword, ritual and revelation, conduit and compass. In this union, the dragon no longer represents danger. It embodies the flow of power, clarity, and life itself. The rider does not conquer. The rider coexists, moving in harmony with the ancient rhythm that has always been within. Close your eyes. The world outside begins to fade, but the one within awakens, vast, alive, and waiting. You are once again at the mouth of the dragon's cave, yet this time, the air trembles not with fear, but with anticipation. The reins of breath lie in your hands, forged through awareness, patience, and practice. You have felt the pulse of the dragon in your chest, and now its wings unfurl. The first flight begins not with motion, but with stillness, the conscious return to rhythm. Beneath your ribs, the heartbeat drums, lubed-up, steady, patient, ancient. Each beat echoes the cadence of life itself. This is the dragon's pulse, the inner kingdom's metronome. Inhale slowly, deliberately, drawing air as though it carries the fire of creation. Count to 5 as the breath rises, expanding ribs, softening shoulders, lengthening spine. Hold briefly. A pause, a calm space before the storm of thought intrudes. Exhale gently, also for 5 counts, releasing tension, doubt, and inertia. This 5 inches, 5 out pattern is more than technique. It is resonance, a tempo at which the heart, lungs, and nervous system synchronize. Modern science calls it resonance frequency breathing. The ancients called it flight. The breath becomes the current beneath your wings, the air itself alive with the dragon's energy. With every cycle, the nervous system adjusts, the vagus nerve sings, and subtle warmth spreads through the chest. You feel lighter, yet rooted, expansive, yet grounded. You are not escaping the earth. You are remembering its rhythm, your rhythm, the dragon's rhythm. As you continue, imagine your nervous system as a vast sky. Each inhalation lifts the dragon higher. Each exhalation settles it gracefully. Synapses fire in harmony. Heart rate variability rises, and the chaotic noise of daily life softens. You are entering a state where body, mind, and breath become one continuous wave, a first flight into coherence. The dragon is not outside of you. It is the flow within you, and today you learn to ride it. Now that the rhythm is established, allow the breath to guide the body. Feel the inhale draw energy upward from the base of the spine into the lungs, inflating the chest with life and presence. Let the exhale wash through the body like a gentle tide, relaxing shoulders, jaw, and abdomen. You are at the frequency where heart and breath fuse into a single, coherent wave. Each beat and each breath resonate like strings on a lute, vibrating through the nervous system, the organs, the subtle electromagnetic field that surrounds you. Visualize a golden light within your chest. With each inhale, it brightens. With each exhale, it radiates warmth through the body. This is the dragon's heart, not a symbol, but a living pulse of awareness. As your breath and heartbeat synchronize, the boundaries between body and mind blur. You are breathing energy, not air. The dragon lifts you, not through force, but through the harmony of presence. Thoughts may arise, sparks across the sky of consciousness, but they no longer disrupt your flight. Each inhale steadies the mind. Each exhale carries it away, like smoke rising into a calm evening sky. The body intuitively knows the rhythm. Heart and brain align. Parasympathetic activation balances sympathetic tension. The first flight is physiology meeting consciousness. Neural pathways rewire, heart signals strengthen, and the organism tunes itself to a higher key. You are not imagining mastery. You are embodying it. As you glide, notice the subtle feedback, warmth in the chest, expansion in the lungs, softening in the jaw and shoulders. These are your instruments of navigation, the reins by which you guide the dragon through currents of energy, emotion, and thought. Each breath is a course correction, each pause an adjustment of balance. You are both rider and flight, observer and participant. Every flight returns to stillness. The grace of landing defines mastery. Begin to slow the breath further. Inhale for 6 counts, exhale for 6. Visualize the dragon descending through clouds of awareness, wings folding gently, coiling fire into warmth, resting in trust. Return to the body. Feel hands resting, legs weighted, heart steady. The rhythm you discovered aloft remains, whispering balance, presence, and clarity into every cell. In this descent, notice the subtle transformations. Anxiety that once gripped the chest softens. The mind, previously restless, finds spaciousness. Parasympathetic dominance spreads, the nervous system settles, and a sense of embodied calm fills your awareness. The dragon rests at the heart's gate, loyal, alert, and ready to rise when needed, yet content in silence. You have become its companion, its rider, its voice. Open your eyes slowly. The room has not changed, yet everything has shifted. The air seems richer, the lights softer, the heartbeat steadier. You have flown without leaving the ground, soaring within your physiology and consciousness. This is remembrance, not fantasy. Each coherent breath is a thread woven through evolution itself, linking human and dragon in harmony. Carry this rhythm into daily life. Let it shape responses, steady emotions, and anchor presence. Each inhale is an opportunity to awaken clarity. Each exhale is a release of doubt. Through this practice, the kingdom within you, your nervous system, heart, and mind, begins to resonate with the larger rhythms of the universe. The dragon no longer roars with fear. It moves with grace, patience, and wisdom. You are the rider, the flame, the heartbeat, and the breath. In these moments, know this: mastery is not about distance flown or heights conquered. It is about depth, the courage to descend fully into awareness, to synchronize body, mind, and spirit, to ride the currents of life with grace and poise. The first flight is complete. The journey continues. The dragon stirs within you, not as a beast to be tamed, but as a rhythm to be honored. With each inhale, feel its ancient pulse rise through your spine. With every exhale, sense wisdom coiling softly in your chest. This dragon is no longer fantasy. It is your own nervous system, your heart, your breath, the living core of awareness. To ride it is not to conquer, but to enter a pact, a covenant of presence, trust, and devotion. The ancients understood mastery not as dominance, but as alignment, the art of moving with forces greater than oneself. Over the next 7 days, you will not fight emotions, thoughts, or biological rhythms. You will befriend them. You will walk alongside what you once called chaos and recognize it as life itself. The dragon's heart beats in synchrony with your own, each pulse a whisper from the universe. Steady your flame, and I will reveal the unseen. Day 1 is stillness, learning to listen to the subtle rhythms of your own being. Day 2 is grounding, reconnecting with the body and the earth, rooting yourself in presence. Day 3 is courage, meeting fear and tension as a teacher, not an enemy. Day 4 is surrender, releasing the need to control, allowing breath and heart to lead. Day 5 is balance, weaving structure with spontaneity, action with rest. Day 6 is union, realizing that the dragon and rider are inseparable, two aspects of one awareness. Day 7 is flight, the culmination, where presence and trust dissolve resistance and ignite freedom. This is not a calendar of tasks, but a passage of awakening. Each day is a gate, each breath a key. The pact is not about time, it is about rhythm. Each sunrise is a heartbeat of the dragon, echoing through your chest, reminding you that the sacred fire you seek has always been within. Walking the dragon rider's path transforms perception. You begin to sense the subtle vibrations between your heartbeat and the pulse of the earth, between breath and thought, between presence and action. Breathing becomes dialogue, not mechanical exchange. Science calls it homeostasis. Mystics call it harmony. Both are true. The nervous system, once reactive and tense, becomes an instrument, the heart rate variability a metronome guiding coherent alignment. Life itself responds differently. Thoughts no longer dominate. Irritations no longer hijack your calm. Emotions arrive as weather, temporary, informative, beautiful, passing through you rather than controlling you. You ride the currents of sensation like wind beneath wings, the dragon teaching you flow instead of friction. The pact deepens through ritualized embodiment. Mornings begin with hand on heart, acknowledging presence. Evenings close with gratitude, not for achievements, but for lessons. Breath becomes both teacher and tether, the body a cathedral of consciousness. You walk grounded yet light, face challenges without retreat, breathe through tension, and allow presence to sculpt your actions. In 7 days, the world may appear unchanged, but the way you inhabit it shifts profoundly. The kingdom within begins to bloom. The 7th sunrise arrives. There is no ceremony, only quiet knowing. The dragon does not roar. Its fire glows inward, a sunrise within your ribs. The 7-day pact was never about transformation as an event. It was about remembering. The dragon was never outside, waiting to be mounted. It was your nervous system, your biology, longing to be listened to beneath the noise of life. From this point onward, you continue, not as a student or master, but as a partner of the flame. You rise and breathe. You meet challenges not with resistance, but with curiosity. You hold yourself with gentleness, even when the world does not. This is true strength, compassion fused with presence. You do not flee the storm, you ride it. The dragon's wings are your breath, your calm, your guidance. In the temples of old, initiates were told, "He who rides the dragon controls the sky." Yet the deeper truth is this. The sky was never something to control. It was always home. Rider and dragon, breath and heartbeat, mind and cosmos. These are not separate. They are facets of a single awareness expanding through time. The 7-day pact is the threshold to a lifelong rhythm, a pulse of awake living. Every inhale is a reminder. Every exhale, a vow. To live not from fear, but from presence. To hold the reins not tightly, but tenderly. To move with the dragon's wisdom, not ahead of it. When you falter, as all riders do, you return to the breath. That sacred act resets the kingdom. For the true flight of the dragon is not measured in distance or conquest. It is measured in depth, the courage to descend fully into the mystery of being alive. From that descent, the rider rises, steady, luminous, unbound. Every moment becomes practice. Every heartbeat becomes a drum. Every breath, a song. Presence is the fire. Awareness is the flame. And the dragon, your eternal companion, carries you forward, always, through the infinite sky of self. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the dragon's wings folding gently around you, a living cloak of fire and light. Each inhale draws clarity into your being. Each exhale releases doubt, fear, and resistance. You are neither small nor fragile. You are vast, ancient, infinite, the pulse of life itself, carrying both chaos and calm in equal measure. The storm outside has not vanished, yet its roar no longer shakes you. Its winds are rhythm. Its lightning hums with awareness. You move with it, not against it, a rider attuned to the breath of existence. Each heartbeat is a drum, each breath a song, each thought a spark illuminated by your inner flame. You become both witness and participant, guardian and companion. The dragon is not tamed, it is honored. Its fire no longer consumes, it illuminates. Its power no longer intimidates, it empowers. The mastery you now hold is subtle yet profound. It is not the mastery of control, but the mastery of presence. You walk through the world differently. Challenges no longer break you, they refine you. Fear no longer commands you, it teaches you. Every encounter, every decision, every fleeting moment becomes a mirror of your inner rhythm. You are steady in chaos, luminous in shadow, awake in a world that often forgets how to see. This power is yours not because it was given, but because you remembered it. You remembered that the dragon never sleeps in the legends of others. It lives in you. Its fire was always within your breath. Its wings always spanning the inner sky of your awareness. Its heartbeat the rhythm beneath all thought and emotion. Now, every inhale, every exhale, every heartbeat is a conversation with that eternal flame. You are no longer chasing balance. You embody it. You are no longer seeking courage. You radiate it. You are no longer separated from the source of life. You flow with it unbroken, unbound, alive. Carry this knowing with you into every moment. Speak, move, pause, and breathe with the authority of the dragon's rhythm. Let presence guide your choices. Let awareness shape your actions. Chaos may rise, but you will meet it with calm. Doubt may linger, but you will meet it with clarity. The world may roar, yet you will move with steady wings, luminous in the fire that is yours alone. And when you breathe deeply, remember this, the fire was never outside. It was never a prize to be won or a beast to be subdued. It has always been inside, waiting for recognition, waiting for mastery, waiting for love. That flame is now yours to steward, to honor, and to ride. You are the rider. You are the flame. You are awake.